I am extremely jealous of trans people. Now, don't jump to any crazy conclusions, okay? I seriously don't think I am trans. Let's not be too quick to judge, okay? I'm just saying what we're all thinking here. No need to get our panties in a wad, just hear me out. Now, first of all, I want to give a bit of context because this is quite a big topic. Almost a year ago now, I had this really big identity crisis where I really wanted to be a femboy, but it felt like I couldn't. And there were a variety of reasons for that, one of which was the fact that my appearance was not 100% in line with that. I mean, in a lot of the ways I presented myself, I was definitely very masculine, and that was partially because, you know, for a long period of time, I definitely did try to look masculine. You get what I mean? Sure, I'll admit, I am definitely a bit of a twink. Not to say that I'm gay or anything, but still though, I'm like 6'3", so I felt horrible about it. You know, tall guys are supposed to be super masculine and macho and muscular all the time, and I'm just a freaking twinky skinny dude who's way too flamboyant for his own good. Not to mention, my personality is like not really all that masculine at all, you know? I mean, I also tried doing voice training a handful of times because I wanted a cuter voice, and I'm not going to elaborate any further on that in this video. Okay? Needless to say, I was terrified of anyone knowing that I liked the femboy aesthetic, or that I wished I could be one, or that I wished I could have a more feminine voice, or that I wished, like, whatever, okay? The whole femboy thing, that's only one tiny anecdote from my struggles with this big, scary concept known as self-expression. Ever since I was a little kid, I always had a big problem with just being myself a lot of times. Like, every time I tried to express myself, I'd just get weird looks, or people would call me gay. The list goes on, and I mean, really, the ridicule part is only part of it. I got put into this weird space of feeling kind of trapped, and I felt like I couldn't express myself in even the simplest of ways. As an example, I never used to wear graphic t-shirts at all growing up. I don't know why, but I felt so incredibly ashamed. It was like it was a humiliation ritual to wear any graphic tee, even if it just had a normal picture on it with no particular implications whatsoever, especially not negative ones, okay? It was a constant fear of mine that if I ever dressed slightly too quote-unquote flashy, then people would hate me. I constantly felt like people were going to knock my lights out if they saw that I was wearing a freaking t-shirt that had a design on it or something, which, let's be honest, is not exactly screaming hashtag healthy now, is it? It wasn't until maybe about half a year ago when I finally started wearing graphic tees, and it was a very intense experience, and I don't exactly mean intense in a good way, by the way. It definitely had its ups, but most of it was lots of downs, okay? Let's be for real. I was in this constant state of fear that people were staring at me or judging me, like, hey guys, this dweeb over here is wearing a t-shirt that's an off shade of gray. Let's kill him! You know? And it's like, I don't know exactly how to process that, you know? It's this constant, like, fear of mine that people are just judging me, even if they aren't, even if it would be completely irrational for them to be judging me. Now, in a way, I kind of had to force myself to do that, to wear graphic tees in public, and over the course of maybe 2 months or so, I mostly got over my fear of wearing graphic t-shirts in public. But it was still such a humiliating experience because I'm just walking up and down the hallways on my university campus, and I am, like, as red as a freaking tomato, blushing for no reason because I'm embarrassed, even though I know for a fact that deep down, nobody really cares. Now, while I have mostly gotten over that, there are definitely many other things that I need to work on with myself, more things that I need to expose myself to and get accustomed to so that I don't feel like people are constantly trying to talk about me behind my back or something. Now, okay, I've been talking about femboys and t-shirts. How on earth does this relate to trans people at all, okay? Look, I'm gonna be honest. I feel an immense amount of respect for trans people. Like, genuinely. They're more brave than I could ever be. Feels like they're not afraid to show themselves to the world, and it's like, they know what they need to feel happy with themselves, and then they just go for it. You know what I mean? If mom or dad don't like that, I mean, screw what they think, because we're talking identity, pal. And genuinely, I love every freaking part of it, and I'm honestly quite envious. It's like trans people, you know, they're kind of almost stubborn in a way, and I don't mean to say that they're ignorant. I mean it in the sense that it's like, like there's almost nothing that'll make them change their view. And that's honestly very, very inspiring. You get what I mean? Trans people could come out and then switch up their entire wardrobe, and nothing could make them want to go back to how things used to be. They know what they need to fulfill themselves. They know what they need to feel happy in their own skin. And they know it needs to change. They know it needs to stay. They know, like, they just know what they need to do to get their lives together. And they know what it means to feel fulfilled. And they'll do anything to reach that point where they can feel that sort of fulfillment with themselves. I'm honestly really jealous of, like, their bravery, their boldness, and their willingness to change. And, you know, in a lot of ways, I kind of wish I was trans. And, like, I know that sounds really freaking weird, okay? But I really do mean it. Even though I don't really wish I want to be a girl, I kind of wish I did want to be a girl, if that makes sense at all. I know I don't exactly need to be trans in order to work toward this goal of self-expression of mine, but in my head it sounds like it'd be so much easier. It's like, it's innate, you know, it's like built into them, you know what I mean? Trans people are just so inspiring and like impressive and everything with everything that they do. Like, they have such like incredible like willpower and such bold and ambitious goals, yet they still go for it, you know what I mean? It is honestly remarkable just how much they can alter their appearance and their voice and so many other parts of themselves, and it makes me wish that I had that same drive to change the things that I don't like about myself and to show off my true self to the world. It's a struggle for me because I've been so closed off for my entire life, and it's taken so much effort to overcome even the tiniest of my problems relating to self-expression, and sometimes I just wish I had as gigantic of a goal as trans people did, so I could basically just drop everything else just to achieve that one thing. You know what I mean? Put all of my willpower, all of my passion into it, and make my self-expression a part of my identity. I wish I didn't have so much shame about how I express myself, and I wish I could just bite the bullet and do what I want without the fear of getting quote-unquote caught or something. What I mean by that is right now in my shoes, it feels like there's this invisible force that is constantly stalking me, trying to make sure that I'm being who I'm supposedly supposed to be, which is a man. You get what I mean? And I mean like a stereotypical straight man. And it feels kind of weird, you know what I mean? It feels weird that I feel like I'm in constant fear of being caught, of just trying to be something else that's not a stereotypical man. Even if I am still a man, you know, I get that I'm not 100% one. I stray just a slight bit away from that in a lot of ways. There are a lot of ways that I don't really confine to that sort of stereotype, and I want to break free a little bit, but it feels like every single attempt that I make to try to get myself away from that box, I just find myself feeling super embarrassed, or like I'm doing something wrong. And even though rationally speaking I know I won't get a consequence or get in trouble for it or something because I'm not doing anything illegal, it still feels like someone is judging me. Someone is trying to make me conform. And you know, I partially want to put the blame on the way I was raised, you know? I feel like there was a lot of silent judgment going on in my childhood, and that's probably what stopped me from just trying to be myself in a lot of ways. I was always trying to impress people and earn people's approval by being normal, when I should have really just been my own man and tried to express myself in a way that made me happy. In a way where, you know, even if someone ridiculed me, I could just spit in their face and say, "Screw you, pal, this is me, get over it." It's like, look, man, I know I'm not the most masculine guy out there. I know exactly what I am gender-wise, you know, I've done the research and all the terms or whatever, but in my eyes, it just doesn't matter, okay? In my mind, I know what I am, and I think that is definitely a good tool, but at the end of the day, it just doesn't matter, okay? I don't need help with figuring out that part of myself because I already understand it fully. In a lot of ways, I do wish I could express myself in a more feminine way, but I feel like I'd be judged for it. I don't feel like a girl exactly, you get what I mean? But I feel like if I were a trans girl, I feel like I wouldn't have a single problem with expressing that more feminine side of myself at all. It's like, look, man, I know I'm a dude, but sometimes I just wish I could kind of step outside of the dude box for a minute, okay? Just for a minute, get a breath of fresh air, and kind of just do my own thing when it comes to expressing myself, rather than feeling like I need to be like every other dude on the freaking planet. I don't mean that to say that I'd rather, you know, take on an entirely new gender identity, but, you know, know, just choosing to express what I already have in a different way is the right move. You get what I mean? I just want to experiment with different things, but it feels like I'm in constant fear of judgment or getting put into a box for even the slightest ideation of dressing differently. And that's only the dressing aspect of this, okay? This could also leak into other things, such as the voice training thing I mentioned earlier in the video. That's definitely not a very masculine thing, but sometimes I think about it and I wish I could maybe lean into it a little bit more without the fear of somebody looking at that and saying, oh, you must be this or you must be that or all of this different stuff. You know, maybe I just want to be me, okay? Maybe I just want to have fun being myself. Another example could be, for instance, you know, I've wanted to style my hair for a while now, but every time I think about it, I just start getting so embarrassed and I start blushing profusely, even if I'm all alone, because I'm worried people would judge me for thinking that, for even just thinking of that. Like, that's like crazy, you know what I mean? It's completely irrational, but it's genuinely an awful feeling. I don't even know if that makes any sense. I hope I'm making sense. I don't know if I'm just ranting or what, okay? Moral of the story, I urge you to not try to be like me, okay? Don't be afraid to express yourself and show the world who you really are. Alright? And hey, if you're trans and you're watching this video, you're my freaking hero, dog. I love modded Wii's, Deltarune, Hyperpop, and that weird shark thing. And also cracked FL Studio, whatever it is. If nobody's told you today, you're awesome, and I appreciate you. I appreciate what you've done for me and what you've continued to do for society as a whole, okay? Genuinely inspiring stuff. If you made it to the end of this video, I just want to say that I have a Discord server now. Link is in the description. Please join. Also, look here. We have some Gato Fanglo fan art. This stuff is the freaking bomb, yo. Last but not least, I want to mention that I have a channel membership. It's $4.99 a month. Don't feel obligated to pay for it if you don't want to, but I am just going to throw it out there. If you feel like you want to support me, of course, I would never force you to do anything against your will if you didn't want to. But yeah, without further ado, I suppose I shall see y'all in the next one. Bye!